Hello and welcome. This is Card Shop Insiders. That's John. I'm Noah. John owns a card store in North Carolina, and we are here to talk today about how you make money in card stores, specifically scalping. John's not a scalper. I'm not a scalper. Is there a person out there? I don't see a person. All right, here's the deal. John,
Yes.
recently you and I had a conversation, and you got the article popped up again this last week about how Pokemon TCG is trying to manage scalpers. So let's talk first. What is a scalper from your perspective as a store owner?
A scalper is a person who comes in and tries to buy the product, all of it, of a specific item or items like, say, Pokemon, at the lowest price possible, try to wipe out your inventory, and then goes home and puts it on the internet at double or triple the price.
I mean,
That's
but
what
usually they pay fair price for it, right?
they pay. They'll pay whatever I have on it, if that's fair price.
I mean, a lot of people that would be called scalpers, like the people that go clean out like a Target, you count them as a scalper,
Oh,
right?
without a doubt. I
Like,
mean, because they go in there all the time
yeah,
and they just fill their baskets and they wipe them out of every hot item that's there.
it don't even matter if it's hot; they just get it all.
Well, unfortunately, I guess the big box stores don't have the resources to administer a, hey, you're only going to get two of these products. One guy was telling me he was eighth in line. It was at Best Buy a couple of weeks ago, and he said that they just let everybody buy whatever they wanted in front of them. He was the eighth person, and the seventh person took the rest of it. He got nothing, and he was pissed. And I don't blame him. There was enough for, he said, at least 20 people to get two of something.
Pokemon.
Yeah, at least two of something. But because Best Buy didn't regulate what people could buy, everything was gone.
So, from your perspective, are scalpers bad?
I think it's bad for the popularity of the game as far as kids are concerned. Because if a kid goes into a store, like they'll come in here before Christmas, and I've said this before, I didn't have any product, and it wasn't due to scalping at my store, but it was due to scalping at the big box stores. People could not get the product before Christmas for the most part, and I felt bad about kids. Parents would come in with kids and say, we he was good at school. We got a good grade this week. I want to buy him a pack of Pokemon. Well, I had no Pokemon to sell him. Or people coming in before Christmas and saying, I'm trying to buy six packs to put into a stocking. I had nothing to give them. Nothing
I
to
was
sell.
trying to buy bags to put in a stock.
I know. I would have charged you scalper
You
prices.
would have. I know. I mean, okay. So scalping is only bad to the degree that it affects the game, like by making
Well,
everybody pay more and making people miss out.
yeah, I mean, and there are people because they're desperate, they'll get online and they'll pay two, three times more of it. The same thing's happening with other games too. It's not only Pokemon. It's happening with One Piece. It's happening with popular Magic the Gathering sets.
Yeah.
People are trying to buy whatever they can buy at stores or whatever stores will allow them to buy, and then they're turning around and they're putting them on the internet at a 40 to 50% or higher margin on it. It just depends upon the game.
So John, if we talk like economics, though, does that not mean that the product is just mispriced coming from the distributors?
No,
Like if people are willing to buy it for three times the price on the internet, why is it getting sold for a third of that at retail?
because that's the supposed MSRP. Now
That's made up.
there is no MSRP for most of the games. Magic's come out with an MSRP on certain items. However, I as a store choose to put it lower than the MSRP. So what I'm saying is, if it's really high and expensive, people aren't going to come in and buy it. The average Joe is not going to buy it, even in this economy, especially because everybody's looking at their grocery prices. Have you been food shopping lately?
Yeah, but I get that. But if that were true, scalpers wouldn't have incentive to do what they're doing.
That's where the two-tier system comes in. I'll give you, for instance, suppose I have a box of Pokemon selling for $130. Okay.
Okay.
I'll put it on the inventory at $230. So when somebody comes in that I've never seen before, how much is this box of Pokemon? 230. And they turned up their nose because they know it's 130. Okay. And if they question me about it, that's my pricing. I'm sorry.
But what are they?
However, if you were to come in and you're my regular customer that buys week after week after week or something of that nature, your price is $130. And I don't care if anybody questions me on it. It's my system.
Right. But what are they gonna? I mean, you're allowed to sell for whatever you want to sell for.
Hmm.
Like that's fine. But why not sell it for the most money you can get all the time?
Because then I'm not greedy. And a lot of stores are greedy. And I think it'll bite you in the rear end in the long run.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good practice to do it that way because your regular customers are going to say to you, well, you're greedy. I'll give you, for instance, there's a couple of people come in the store and they go to other shops to
Hmm.
play and do this. And they always say to me, you have the lowest pricing of all the stores around here. And I said, well, I price it, according to the way I buy it. Uh, and I tried to get the pricing to fit the economic, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? The economic basis of this community. This is not a very affluent community. It really isn't. It's not like, some of the, like if you're out in California in a high profile area, that Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
people shop there because they have money. They have more money. So naturally, you could sell things for more money.
We should
It,
put the toy factory in Beverly Hills.
yeah, we should, but the rent would be outrageous and I'd be out of business in a day.
Yeah.
Another great idea
Unless
there,
you can,
counselor. Another great idea.
unless you can somehow convince your distributors to quadruple your allocation, right? They probably could double it. You gotta go.
Quadruple it and drop the price in half.
Yeah, they gotta hook you up if they're gonna keep your business
That
up there.
isn't going to happen.
Well, so let's talk. So the thing that got us talking about scalpers is that some retail Pokemon locations have started opening boxes, like taking the cellophane off before they'll sell them.
Right.
But why does that affect scalpers? Like you suggested two-tier pricing, but why would selling it at a regular price but opening the boxes affect a scalper?
All right. Let me read it exactly so I don't misquote it. Let's see. Um, this dissuades scalpers as they can no longer guarantee that their products weren't tampered with or altered somehow. That's basically what they're doing.
Well, let's talk tampering and alteration. So it's been a long time, I think, since we've talked about that on the show. But you have some knowledge from history of other bad actors in the TCG space, and the internet's rife with stories. But like, what are some of the examples of alteration or manipulation that occurs with opened product?
I've seen stores, well, okay, without naming stores because some have gone out of business. Uh, I had somebody come in one time. It was a girl, and she had a little scale. And this was when I'm not sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh was maybe 2 or 3 years into existence. And she came in, she said, can I weigh some packs? And me being stupid at the time, not knowing what was going on, because I was a new store owner,
Yeah,
I said, sure, go ahead. And she would put the scale out and she would open up the box and take a pack and put these aside, put this aside, put this aside. And she said, these are all foil cards in there. And she opened them up and showed me. I said, okay, that's it. You're not going to do that anymore. Don't bring the scale in here anymore. She said, why not? I said, because to me, that's cheating. You're stealing from other customers by doing that. And I'm not going to let you do it anymore. I've had customers come in who know the mapping of a box. they would get online and they would look at the box openings, and they would say, all right, left hand side, fourth card down or fourth pack down, that's a good card. Eighth down, that's a good card. Right hand side, third down, so forth and so on. And they would try to do that. So what I've done is when I open up a box, I shuffle the cards. Somebody said, "Oh, you're fluffing the cards." I said, "Yes, I am. I'm fluffing them and shuffling them because that'll prevent somebody from coming here and trying to buy buy the cards after they know it's mapped and they can have their pick."
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. I've had knowledge of people opening up before Wizards or some of the other manufacturers put their logo on the wrap. It was just clear wrap. Well, they would open up the wrap, they would take out the good packs, put bad packs in it, and then they had a resealer, a regular resealer.
Huh.
And me working in the pharmaceutical industry, I know exactly how they work. All they have to do is buy a roll of shrink wrap and put it through. They had these little mini shrink wrap machines, and that's what they would do.
Hmm.
I had one kid come in one time when Pokemon, I guess, was in his infancy. And the kid, he was 12 years old or something like that. And he would come in every Friday around after school, and he would buy a couple $100 worth of Pokemon. So I looked at the kid one day, and said, "Where the hell are you getting all this money from?" They said, "Oh, my father gives me money to buy these cards." I said, "You have that many cards? You have a great collection?" "Oh no, my father sells at the flea market." And what he does is he opens the packs up, takes out the good cards, puts bad cards in it, and then reseals them.
What?
He had a sealer.
Nice.
And the
I
kid
mean, not
admitted to it.
nice.
The kid didn't know any better. He was 11 or 12, that his father was a crook.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah, I mean, I could write.
I mean, but that's the examples that we're looking for of like how manipulation happens. Today, the manipulation happens and it gets sold on like eBay or Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah.
and you got little to no recourse if you think that there's been something foul happening.
Well, you can look at the bad comments,
Yeah.
the feedback. And if somebody's doing something they're not supposed to be doing, an astute buyer will put bad feedback and say, "Hey, these cards were obviously rifled through." I knew of another store who he was very meticulous. He would open up a pack and he would look in. He knew exactly where it was. He would just open up the corner of the pack and then put it through a real resealer,
Hmm.
match up the seal marks on it, and just seal the packs.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, he's no longer in business, not because of that, but because of other things that he did. But you can't, people aren't stupid. You, well, yeah, they are stupid to a certain extent,
Yeah, they
but
are.
you don't want to be caught doing something like that because your reputation goes down the tubes.
Yeah, but that's why you just rebrand, right? Change your name,
You
move
do,
on.
you do, if you can afford to do so.
That's the
But
way the internet works.
yeah, if you're selling on the internet, but if you're a store owner and you get caught doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, you can't close up shop and open up a couple miles down the road. And
Well, with like local competition, there's just so many extra stores around. You can't move very well without running into somebody else and having new competition and other problems. And you guys all talk, right? I mean, so you
for the
know all the
most
local
part,
store owners.
there's some other store owners that
They don't want to talk to you.
no,
They're not. They're too cool for John.
now they're too damn stubborn and obstinate, and I don't trust them.
Well, that's trust is a big deal.
There's a
So
couple of store owners that I trust that I've been dealing with. Like we'll trade products if need be.
yeah,
If she needs a couple of boxes of something, she'll come down here and get it. And when she gets her stock in, she'll return it, and vice versa. I've had people come in here with fake cards.
oh no,
Oh yeah, and this one store owner up in Burlington, she called me. She said, "Such and such is got a whole bunch of fake cards." He was in the store before, and he came from Miami. Well, lo and behold, 15 minutes after I got off the phone with her, he came in with these fake cards. And I looked at them real quickly, and it were obvious that they were fake. And I said, his name was Chris. I said, Chris, these are fake. Oh, no, they're not. I said, yeah, they are. Oh, how do you know that? I said, because I just got a call from such and such at the other store. He picked up his cards and just walked out the door. Now, if somebody comes into the store, normally I will not buy any cards. And usually what I do is I buy uh, not with cash, it's store credit.
Yeah.
And that deters other people from coming in because they usually want cash right away. And that's not a good sign. But if somebody comes in and has halfway decent cards that I could use, and say I have an extra $100 in the register that I can afford to give out, well, I make them sign a sheet that I bought such and such a cards from them. I look at their license and make a copy of it. And I had one person that said, "Well, I don't have a license." I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying your cards." And he gathered up his stuff and walked out.
Yeah.
And they were legitimate cards.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to protect yourself.
You got to be smart. You got to be smart when you're doing this. Otherwise, there's a lot of bad actors out there, and they can screw you over.
Well, that happens, yeah. People are always trying to put one up on somebody else.
Oh yeah.
All right, what else we got for YouTube today, John?
I have something that I was going to talk about, but how much time I don't even know how much.
Well, we're at like 28, but we did some of that with our patrons.
Well, I think we should not keep these things lengthy. I think the YouTube section should be no more than 14 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's no reason to be long.
Yeah, because it's people tune it out.
Yeah.
The next thing, the next time we talk is just about an LCS, about a local game, or LGS, about a local gaming store.
Wow.
And what it means to a community.
Yeah.
And I can remember way back when I was a kid. God, that was a long time ago. We used to go to Blackie's. Blackie's was, a corner grocery store. Actually, he was a card shop, comic shop, ice cream, candy, and a few ancillary groceries. Later on, I found out he was also a bookie because he had all these blackboards in the back room. And my father, when he found that, he said, "Don't go to Blackie's anymore."
Oh,
because
goodness.
Unsavory characters.
Unsavory characters.
But Blackie's was cool. We used to get our baseball cards back then.
John got his baseball cards from a bookie. That should be the title of the YouTube video. All right. Well, then if we're going to wrap up the YouTube section, let's say thank you to everybody for watching the video. If you're interested in supporting the channel more, you can do it on Patreon. We want to say thanks to our patrons. We have a special group of patrons. They are cool people. I almost had the names. I got off the list, though. Ben, Brandon, Brian, Drayden, Grant, Jacob, Logan, Michael, and our newest patron, Nathan. Thank you guys so much for supporting us on Patreon. We look forward to your continued support and bringing you more information. Patrons also get access to behind-the-scenes recordings that have off the camera, off of the episode discussions between John and I about the card business, about the channel and podcast, and about how we do things, and sometimes about other screwy stuff that we come up with.
How we make our decisions about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you get to participate in that.
John Unfiltered.
If you have ever had unsavory characters try to sell you Pokemon cards or other cards, or if you know about scalping strategies that you want to share with us in the comments, do that. It'll be fun and exciting for us to review and hear about. Otherwise, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.